So I'm going to start with a recap of all the patterns that we've done so far. Okay, so I'm just going to put that up here at the top. You can like write it next to your name. The first two that we did were angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. That was from 2 classes ago. And those are just law of sines. You literally just do the problem. The button pushing for those ones was easier. Do you remember that was the day everybody was like, fine? Like we were good? Okay, last time was the difficult one. So the pattern we did last time, side, side, angle. That's where you have to do the analysis with that flow chart. Theta is, and then go from there. But that's the only pattern that involves that analysis. So if you're like, hey, that was really hard, that's only that pattern, all right? Today, we're gonna do side, angle, side, and side, side, side. Thank you. And those are the law of cosines, which I'm gonna explain to you in just a second. But basically, I'm just gonna give you a formula. You're gonna memorize it and plug numbers in. Isn't that fun? Yeah. Actually, people tend to like that though. Like, oh, I just memorize this formula and plug numbers in. Like that is sort of okay. Do you remember the area formulas we did where there were 3 different versions, but it was all really the same thing? You could just twist the letters around. Bless you. Do you remember that with the A, B, and C? It's going to be the same thing with this. So I'm going to show you one version of it, and then I'm going to see if you guys can like twist the letters, okay? Because it means the same thing no matter what letter of the alphabet you're calling. So it's going to start A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. Hold on. Let me tell you how I remember it. That's a big, yeah. Sine, cosine, tangent has to be of an angle. Look, just watch me point to this. Do you see how these two get repeated right here? Whatever those two are, get repeated. And do you see how this is little a and this is big A? The ones on the ends, those match too. So these two just get repeated, and then this is little a and this is big A. Now let's see if you can twist the letters around, because it means the exact same thing even if your triangle is like twisted. So let's say instead it was B squared. Then what would you have? You'd have A squared plus C squared minus 2AC. You just repeat those. Cosine of B, it matches what was in front. And then what's the third version? It would be C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. Do not try to memorize those as 3 individual things. They're all the same. And I will tell you what, this actually goes really well every year. The biggest mistake I get on this one is people put sine instead of cosine. And that absolutely blows my mind, because it is called the law of, I mean, I get why it happens, I guess, but like, work with me. Can we make this be the year that doesn't happen, please? It's the law of cosines. Let's put cosine, okay? So, draw a triangle. Start at the bottom left. Just always do them the same way. A is 61 degrees. Across from that is little a. We don't have little a, so just put a little a. All right, B is going to go down here. Across from that, I put 4. C goes at the top. Across from that, 6. What's the pattern? Do you see how the angle's in between the 2 sides? You get a point for that on the test. Draw it and tell me the pattern. That's worth a point. So this pattern is what tells you, hey, I need law of cosines. Again, on your test, these 5 patterns are going to be all jumbled up. So when you get this, you're like, hey, law of cosine. So let's list out what we're missing. We are missing little a. Making my scavenger hunt list here. Now you want to find them smallest to biggest. This is where it matters. Remember how I said before it didn't matter? It's going to matter today. If you try to do them out of order, your calculator's not going to give you the right answer. So out of big B or big C, which one's smaller? B. Why is B the smaller one? Smaller side. All right, and then we're going to do C. So put them in the order you're going to find them. So I can't find one of these angles until I have a side across from an angle. So we have to do A first. I'm so glad someone asked me that, though. I always wait to see if someone's going to. Yeah, we usually do the angles first, but we can't because we need that side. All right. So it is going to be A squared equals, and try to write a little small because this is going to be longer. A squared equals 4 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 4 times 6. They just get repeated. And then cosine of 61 degrees. It's the only angle you have, so you can't pick the wrong one. Now look, some of you reached for the calculator already. Can you listen real quick? Do you see how A is squared? So what you want to type in your calculator is square root of all that. And that will give you the answer. Square root of all of that. Oh, square root is right here. You do have to hit second to get it. So compare with those around you, and then if anyone brave wants to say what they got before I hit enter here. It should not be 215.
359.
Okay, good. 5.359.
Stakes to the stake hour. There's your problem.
Quick, capture it before it gets away. Store alpha A, enter. So now we have a side across from an angle. And so that's what we're going to use is law of sines now, so we don't have to do this whole long thing again. So you can either write 5.359, or you can just write the letter A, whatever is your preference. But no matter what you write, when you type it in the calculator, use your stored value, okay? So it'll be that over sine of 61 equals, and now what are you looking for? The missing thing is what goes on the other side. We're looking for B, so it'll be 4 over sine of B. We are looking for an angle. Good. Okay, let me get everybody else there, though. Hold on. You're going to hit second sine. So far, so good. 4 sine 61, close parenthesis, divided by alpha A, and then hit enter. Hurry, capture it. Store alpha B, enter. I say that to be silly so people remember to store it. Now, how do you get the last one? 180 minus the others. So 180 minus 61 minus alpha B. So go ahead and draw a triangle for number 2. I get that that's on obtuse angle, but it doesn't need to be to scale. So just draw something with 3 sides. Start in the bottom left. My degree symbol was kind of large there, so I'm going to fix that. We don't have little b. I'm going to put A down here. Across from that is 5. C goes at the top. Across from that is 3. Side angle side, which is the trigger that says, hey, that's law of cosines. Like the pattern tells you what you're going to do. So let's make our scavenger hunt list. We're missing little b. And then good, we need to find angle C next. It's the smallest one. And then A last. By the way, the reason you have to do them that way is The calculator is programmed to give you the smaller answer. We're going to get to a place where I can explain this a little bit better once you've learned a little bit more, but there's like two possible answers and the calculator's programmed to give you the smaller one. So you have to do the smaller one first or it's not going to give you the right answer. All right, so setting this up, it's going to be b squared equals. What would go on the other side? 5 squared plus, or in the other order, it really doesn't matter, minus 2 times 5 times 3, just repeat those, cosine 121. And then because it's squared, what you need to type in is the square root of all of that.
We're not gonna.
Did anyone get 7.032? Okay, cool. Store that as B. So store that as B. So you now have a side across from an angle. And you can do law of sines. So it'll be B over, or if you were going to write 7.032, that's fine. But no matter what, when you type it, use your stored value. B over sine 121. What's going to go in the other side? 3 over sine C. How do you type it? Second sine, good. We're off to a good start. 3 sine 121, close parentheses, divided by alpha B. I can't make this do lowercase letters. It'll only do uppercase. So you kind of just have to deal with that.
Oh, what did I do? Oh, I don't have a store for you.
Hit the up button until you get back to whatever the answer for B was. Hit enter, do store alpha B, and then type it again. Did anyone get the same thing as me? Okay, thank you. So we're going to store that as C, and then to get the last one, you just subtract from 180. Bless you. Bless you. Is that enough of a pause? Are we okay? All right, go ahead and draw a triangle for 3. Now, you can tell by looking at this one what the pattern is, but I'm still going to give you a point for drawing it. It actually does not matter what you put where, because what pattern is this? Yeah, so it really does not make a difference at all. Are you hissing at me back there? But I'm just going to give you a point for doing that, so just do it. You actually don't really need the picture for this one. It's side, side, side. So again, that is what tells you that it's going to be law of cosines. You need to find them smallest to biggest. So which one's going to be smallest? A is smallest, and then C, good, and then B. As a heads up, this one has a touch more writing, but not much. Okay. It's easier to type. Okay. So we want A. So I'm going to start with A. 4 squared equals. You start with whatever one you're trying to find. 4 squared equals. What's going to go on the other side? Good. 10 squared plus 8, or 8 squared plus 10 squared. That's not actually going to matter. Minus 2 times 10 times 8. They just get repeated. Cosine A. Now, because that's what's missing, we kind of have to solve for that. You'll be okay. What is 4 squared? It'd be 16. This would be 100. And this would be 64. So together, 164 minus 2 times 10 times 8. Now you get a calculator, but that would be 160 cosine A. Here is the most common mistake I see with this, is people will subtract these and write 4 cosine of A. You can't do that. This one has a cosine and this one doesn't. It's like this. If you had, don't write this down, but I'll erase it. If you had 2 minus 5x, can you put those together? They're not what? They're not like terms. This one has a cosine, that one doesn't. Don't put them together. Instead, you're going to subtract the 164 to the other side. So we're going to do 16 minus 164. If you're like, hey, Miss Cole, that's negative. I know. It's going to be okay because what's left on this side? Negative 160 cosine A. And then what happens to the negatives? They negate. They cancel. I love that you're using the good vocabulary. It will always happen that way. You will get 2 negatives and then they'll cancel out. All right, then what? Still trying to get A by itself. Divide 160. Here's my advice on this. Just write 148 over 160. It's not worth it. You're going to type it in the calculator anyway. So just divide that over. I get that the fraction reduces, but who cares? Okay, now how do we type that? You want the angle. Second cosine, good. 148 divided by 160. Bless you. Told you it was easier to type. It's not as long to type, but you do have to kind of work it out. Oh, what'd you get? 0.331, good. Store it. Store alpha A, enter. Did you do sine? Don't do sine, it's the law of cosines. Stick with me, we're almost done. I know it's like not super interesting. All right, now look at, we have a side across from an angle. Do you see how we now have a side across from an angle?
No.
Okay, so it is going to be 4 over sine of A, and you can write the letter A, or you could write 22.331, whatever is your preference, equals. Now, which one are we trying to find next? Again, the order is important here, so C. So it would be, I guess the picture does kind of help because it gives you a visual to look at. It'll be 8 over sine of C. How do you type that? Second sine, good. Off to a good start. 8 sine A, close parenthesis, divided by, you did need to store that as A or else this next part won't work. Store that as C, and then how do you get the last one? Subtract from 180. So 180 minus alpha A minus alpha C will give you the last one. You're gonna be okay. But I'm gonna pause real quick. Everybody just be patient while people finish typing it in. Typing it's a skill you need to have, which is unfortunately not something I can really teach. Like I can tell you what buttons to hit, but it's just like you have to reconcile yourself with the calculator. Okay, seems like we're all right. Let's try one more. What is this pattern without even drawing a triangle? It's side, side, side. And I actually made this one a little bit easier because what do you notice about it? I made 2 of them the same. Hey kiddos, if 2 of the sides are the same, that means 2 of the angles are the same. So it'll be a little bit of an easier problem. Trying to help you out. All right, which one are we going to find first? Oh, sorry, you're right. That's 10. Side, side, side. Okay, so which one are we going to find first? Either B or C, it actually doesn't matter. So I'm going to go alphabetical order. But then A has to be last. All right, so we're going to find B. That means we start with B. It's going to be 10 squared equals, and then what goes on the other side? 10 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 10 times 12 cosine of b. And you do have to work that out. It's easier to type, but you do have to actually like do some math, okay? So 10 squared is 100. This would be 100, this would be 144, so, and you get a calculator, so if you didn't know that, you could type it in. Minus 2 times 10 times 12, that would be 240. Again, you get a calculator. Don't combine those together. Instead, what do? Subtract that. It'll be negative, all right? 100 minus 244 will be negative 144. But it's okay because the other side's negative, and then they're going to cancel. And then you divide it. But don't bother trying to reduce that or anything else. It's not worth it. Just write 144 over 240. Like, there's just other things to worry about in life, okay? And then how do you type that? Second, cosine 144 divided by 240. Did anyone else get 53.130? Okay. Now here's the cool part about how I did this problem. And does anyone remember what the word is for a triangle with two sides the same? Oh, good. Isosceles. So if B is this, that means C is also that. And you can store it as whichever you want. I'm just going to store it as B because that's what we found it as. How can you do the last one without writing down any more work? It's 180 minus B and then minus, oh, whoops. Ah. Yeah, alpha B and then minus alpha B again. So 73.739. Yeah. Okay, I just want to review the area formulas because it's been a couple of classes since we talked about that. For this one, area is 1/2. And then, okay, there were different versions of it. It was 1/2 AB sine of C, or it could be 1/2 AC sine of B. Do you remember that? Like you could twist the letters around. This one's going to be 1/2. Ooh, I'm missing another side. Ooh, I forgot. We need to actually go back and find another side. Draw a triangle. I got ahead of myself. We're missing a piece of information. Oopsie. Got ahead of myself. All right, B is 35. A is 54. C is 7. So what pattern? So that's side angle side. Oh, no, wait, that's not side angle side. It's angle side angle. That's just law of sines. Just do law of sines. Okay. So I just need another side. It doesn't actually really matter which one. I just need another side. I need a side. Gosh, geez. I need another angle here. I need a side across from an angle. What's that angle we're missing? Do 180 minus the other ones. I get 91. Dang, it was almost a right triangle. 1 degree away. Okay, so when you set it up, 7 over sine of 91 equals, and it kind of doesn't matter which side we find here. Which one do you want to do? Technically, we should do the smaller one, so I guess let's go with that. B. It'll be B over sine 35. So how would you type that to get B? Ooh, we don't need second because we're not looking for an angle. So you would just do 7 sine 35 divided by sine 91. Oh, not 40. 4.015. Store that as B. And then now we can go do the formula. Sorry, we were missing a piece of information there. So we can do 1/2 BC sine A. So 1/2 BC sine A. The other versions of that would be 1/2 AB sine C. Do you remember that? Or 1/2 AC sine B. You just twist the letters around. All right, so let's go ahead and type that. It'll be 1/2 times alpha B times C, which is 7, right? And then sine of angle A, which is 54. Now, I didn't put units in here, but I like to bring it up. Say it was in feet, then your area would be feet squared. Good. And then this other one was Heron's formula. Do you remember that? Heron's, no? Okay, that's why I'm bringing it up again. So first you find this S value. Does anyone remember how to find the S value? It starts with a 1/2. You add them all. All right, so you're gonna do 1/2 and then add them all together. Oh, I heard somebody say it over there. That's what I got too. And then your area is a gigantic square root. What goes underneath? So 17.5. And then what I usually just do is draw 3 more blanks. It's S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. So if you do 17.5 minus 9, is that going to be 8.5? 17.5 minus 11 would be 6.5. And then 17.5 minus 15 would be 2.5. And then you type that all in, it gives you your answer. It is crazy that that works. That kind of geeks me out because it's sort of like magic. Like that gives you the area of the triangle. That's neat.